Hey everyone, Cloud's Nightmare here. Today we're going to be talking about a game that I didn't even know existed until a week ago. I've since gone on to play through the whole game, and I would love to share my thoughts with you. The game I'm talking about is Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. This game actually went through the Kickstarter process and is based in the world of a 90s anime that I'd also, surprisingly, never heard of. Does the game follow the now familiar disappointment of Kickstarted games? Or does it rise above the chaff? Let's get into it. Be sure and like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date with the videos on the channel. So I saw the trailer for Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit, and Wonder Labyrinth last week thanks to a tweet by Nintendo, and it made me immediately go into research mode. I mean, just look at it! It's a beautifully crafted 2D Metroidvania that is extremely reminiscent of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It looks so similar, even using a similar art technique showing the shadows of the sprites as they move around on the screen. Wonder Labyrinth has a leveling system, slowly increasing the stats of Deedlit as you kill more and more enemies throughout the game. There is also a weapon equipment system. Different weapons attack differently, like the throwable boomerang, or the super big heavy swords that'll attack in a full arc, or tiny daggers that attack with a very fast attack rate. There are so many similarities to Castlevania that it 100% had to have been a design decision. Personally, I love it, but I could definitely see how that could be annoying to some people. The art, animation, music, and leveling system, as well as the weapons and overall atmosphere, really draw comparisons to one of, if not the best in the genre. The game starts out immediately throwing you into the world, setting the stage. Deedlit waking up and having no idea where she is or why she's there. The exploration is pretty straightforward if you played anything else in the genre. You move from area to area, gaining new powers and abilities, which slowly opens up more and more areas to explore, allowing you to get more powers and abilities. Some of the first powers you get are the elemental spirits, and they're unique in this style of game. You gain two of them actually. The wind spirit Sylph, which is colorized as blue, and the fire spirit Salamander, which is colorized as red. You can swap between the spirits at will using the R1 or right bumper shoulder buttons, and some enemies are immune to wind and some immune to fire. So you have to be on the right element in order to do damage to those enemies. And then there are beams or energy or attacks that will match the color of those two spirits. While you are using the blue wind, you're immune to blue attacks or beams. And then the same is true for the red fire spirit. Another aspect to the elemental spirit system is that they can actually be leveled up to a max of level 3. While using fire, you level the wind spirit, and while you're using the wind spirit, you level the fire spirit. You do this by collecting drops from enemies as you hit them. Each level up increases your strength, and if you're at level 3, your HP will actually heal passively. But the other side of this is if you are hit while the spirit you are using is above level 1, you will go down a level. Each spirit gives you their own passive benefits as well. The wind spirit allows you to levitate over land while you're holding the jump button, and the fire spirit allows you to attack just a little bit faster. The spirit system sounds super complex and difficult based on the way I'm describing it, but I promise you, once you get into the game and start playing with it, it feels almost like second nature. I found this system to be a ton of fun, and it adds another element to the boss fights in the game and the exploration. It's a refreshing twist added to a very saturated market of Metroidvanias. Another major highlight to the game are the boss battles. There's not a wildly huge number of them or anything, but they're a ton of fun. They use the standard Metroidvania flair of incorporating all of the abilities and powers you've gained throughout in order to dodge attacks during the boss fights, such as the double jump, the slide, or, you guessed it, the elemental spirits. Some attacks by these bosses are actually almost unavoidable, but they're colored either blue or red, so you're able to swap to that spirit and completely be immune to that attack. So you can just stand in it and keep hitting the boss. Plus, while you are getting hit by something you are immune to, you gain MP. So you can keep using your bow or your magic spells or whatever you do that is using your MP. Using that elemental spirit system in the boss fights like that makes for more dynamic and intense boss fights that turn out to be more fun. Most of the bosses throughout the game I was able to get through within a couple of attempts. However, there was one specific boss that I just had a really hard time getting their patterns down, and it took me more attempts than I'm willing to admit before I could beat her. But at no point was I frustrated enough to stop trying, or felt that it was unfair that I lost. Every death was because of mistakes I made that I obviously shouldn't have been making. I'm pretty sure the developers were very cognizant of how fun the boss fights are, because they added a boss rush mode that unlocks once you've cleared the game. And that allows you to battle through all of the bosses with your version of Deedlit in rapid succession. I had a great time blasting through that a few times, trying to set a record time for myself. The story of Wonder Labyrinth is by no means the best part of the game. I would actually say that this story just didn't land for me. It's not awful, but it just didn't make an impact whatsoever with me, and that's okay. In the Metroidvania genre, the story is often the part that is overlooked or underutilized or just not really stellar across the board, excluding a few absolutely incredible exceptions. The game follows Deedlit trying to find out what's going on and get back with her lost love. Throughout the game, the story is told through small bits of dialogue as you run into different characters from the anime. But there's never any huge diatribes or long scenes that you have to sit through. It's definitely mostly about the action. And that works for me. That's where I had my fun with the game. I'm betting that if I had seen the anime, the game's story would mean more to me and may have actually had the impact that it's probably going for. I do intend to look up the anime soon. I'm always down for another show set in a fantasy universe. So if you have any recommendations, I'm all ears. Now on to the most important part of any review, the conclusion. The game is coming out on the Switch tomorrow, January 28th, and the price there is matching all of the other digital storefronts, $24.99. Although if you're on Game Pass, it's actually available there as well. In regard to length, I played for about 6 hours, including a couple of boss rush attempts. I did not, though, go for 100% completion, so you could probably eke out a little bit more playtime if you really wanted to. But is it worth your time and your money? Absolutely it is. If you have any nostalgia for Castlevania Symphony of the Night, this brings a lot of those same qualities forward. While Wonder Labyrinth isn't nearly as deep as Castlevania or have as much backtracking, it is a wonderful Metroidvania set in a beautifully animated world well worth exploring. I had an absolute blast with the game, and to be honest, I'm sad that it's over with. I played through it in 2 sittings. I couldn't put it down. Metroidvanias are having almost a renaissance, and I am living and breathing these things as I can find them. Some are definitely better than others, and this one is sitting towards the top of the pile, surrounded by great company. I loved this game, and I wish there was more of it. What are your thoughts on Wonder Labyrinth? Let me know in the comments. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and stay safe.